Am I the a-hole for kicking my brother and his new wife out of my house after they tried to redecorate my daughter's room while I was at work? So this is still pretty fresh, and I'm absolutely fuming. For context, I, 38 female, lost my daughter 2 years ago in a car accident. She was only 14, and ever since that day, I've kept her room exactly as she left it. I don't go in there often, but just knowing that it's there and touched brings me comfort. It's like having a piece of her still with me. Her posters, her art supplies, her clothes, all of it is still there. I can't bring myself to change it. Now, fast forward to a few months ago, my brother, 34 male, and his new wife, 29 female, had some financial issues after blowing a ton of money on a ridiculous, extravagant wedding. They asked if they could stay with me while they saved up for a place. Even though I wasn't thrilled about it, I agreed because, well, family, right? At first, things were fine, until recently. I noticed my sister-in-law making comments about how I shouldn't keep a shrine and how it's time to move on. I ignored her because, frankly, it's none of her damn business how I grieve my child. My brother mostly stayed quiet, but I could tell she was getting into his ear. Anyway, I came home from work last week to a literal nightmare. I walked into my daughter's room, and I kid you not, they had taken down all her posters, boxed up her stuff, and had started repainting the walls a hideous beige. They had moved in a bunch of generic furniture, hung up new curtains, and were apparently turning it into a guest room. I lost it, screaming, crying, the whole thing. I asked them what the heck they were thinking, and their response? My sister-in-law had a nerve to tell me that they did it as a favor to help me move on because it was unhealthy for me to keep the room as it was. I was shaking with rage. I told them to pack their stuff and get the heck out of my house immediately. My brother tried to calm me down, saying they meant well and were only trying to help me let go. He even tried to make me feel guilty by saying they had nowhere else to go right now, as if that would make me feel suddenly forgive them for destroying the last piece of my daughter I had left. I told them I didn't care, and they had crossed an unforgivable line. Now my whole family is divided. My parents think I overreacted and say I'm being heartless for kicking them out. They keep saying they were just trying to help. They didn't mean any harm, and that I'm being too harsh because people grieve differently. They even suggested I apologize and let them move back in. My brother is still texting me asking me to reconsider, saying they're in a tough spot. But all I see when I look at him is betrayal. So am I the a-hole for kicking them out and refusing to even consider letting them back in after what they did? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your parents can frankly shut the heck up. They know damn well you're a scumbag brother and a scumbag wife who are trying to take over your daughter's room so they have more space for themselves. And they still disrespected their granddaughter's memory to try and gaslight you otherwise. The utter nerve of your brother and sister-in-law. They are the way they are precisely because no one told them no before you. I am wondering how her parents would feel if they lost a daughter to no contact. Let them know that it is the same thing, and they should be able to get over it pretty quickly based on their comments. And OP should tell her parents their son and daughter-in-law can damn well move in with them, since they are so bloody forgiving. If I were OP, I'd be hard-pressed to ever speak to my brother and sister-in-law again. Truly, what they did is unforgivable. It would also be a good while before I could forgive my parents for being so unfeeling and cold toward me and my personal journey of grieving. It took me almost 5 years to dismantle a loved one's room after their passing. I still haven't emptied her closet. I'm looking for a cedar chest to move those things into. You don't move on. You learn to live with it. Don't listen to the flying monkeys, because they're just that, monkeys. They just make noise and leave a mess. Sending you a huge virtual hug. Not the a-hole. Agree 100%. Plus, they keep saying they were just trying to help. They didn't mean any harm. And that I'm being too harsh because people grieve differently. That's absolutely true that people grieve differently, which is why they should have respected the way that you decided to grieve, OP. Not the a-hole, by a mile. 2 years isn't even that long. She was her daughter. These people are heartless. Next story. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my parents and kicking them out after they try to force me to rehome my autistic son's therapy dog? So here's the deal. I, 35 male, have a 10-year-old son, Ethan, who's on the autism spectrum. He's a bright kid, but struggles with severe anxiety, especially around new people or changes in routine. About a year ago, we got him a therapy dog, Max, a golden retriever. Max has been a godsend. Since Ethan bonded with him, his meltdowns have significantly decreased, and he's been more independent. Honestly, Max has been a lifeline for Ethan and our family. Now the backstory. My parents, 62 male and 60 female, are difficult. Growing up, they were very much the tough love kind of parents, never really understanding mental health or special needs. They've always been critical of how we parent Ethan, saying we coddle him too much. I've had to set boundaries with them multiple times, but they've never fully respected them. A few months ago, my parents ran into some health issues and decided to downsize their home. They asked if they could move in with us for a while until they figure out their next step. After much hesitation, we agreed to let them stay, but we laid out ground rules, especially when it came to Ethan. I was very clear that our routine, especially involving Max, was non-negotiable. At first, everything was okay. My parents kept their distance when Ethan needed space and tried to be understanding, but I could tell they weren't thrilled with Max being in the house. My dad's not much of a dog person, and my mom kept making snide remarks about hygiene and how it's just an animal. Then came the incident. Last week, I came home from running errands to find Ethan in a full-blown meltdown. He was inconsolable, crying and shaking, and Max was nowhere to be found. I immediately asked my parents what happened, and my mom, completely calm, said that she had rehomed Max while I was out because she felt the dog was enabling Ethan's anxiety rather than helping it. She didn't even ask me. She just took it upon herself to contact some friend of a friend who needed a dog and gave Max away. I lost it. I screamed at them both. I asked them what in the world they were thinking, and they said they were trying to help Ethan by cutting the cord and helping him be more independent. My dad chimed in saying, "You can't let him depend on a dog forever." As if Ethan's progress was something to just be discarded because they didn't like it. I was absolutely livid. I told them they had no right to make decisions about Ethan's therapy or what's best for him. I didn't even give them a chance to argue back. They disrespected my family, my son, and everything we've worked so hard for, just because they don't understand him. Am I the a-hole for throwing them out after they took Max away without asking? Not the a-hole. What they did was beyond cruel to both Ethan and Max. They are cold, heartless people. If I were you, I would also go no contact. They have no respect for you, your home, and your family. I hope you got Max back. Not the a-hole. Keep the dog. Lose the parents. If they ask why, tell them it's because you can't coddle the adults. They failed to adult sufficiently. It was a mistake to coddle them by providing them a place to reside. These are full-grown adults, not toddlers. Arguably, they're just animals to whom you have a genetic relationship. They're so bad at adulting that after having to give up their property, they decided to steal yours and dispose of it. They were enabling their incompetence by letting them reside with you. Fortunately, they elected to force you to rehome them. You're helping these two by cutting the cord. They can't suck the life from you forever. You're helping them be more independent. They can't demand support from you indefinitely. You've made a right call. Anyone who wants these leeches or wants to support these leeches or endorses them stealing from you and emotionally abusing a kid is free to welcome them into their house and their bank account. Time for you to cut the cord to them. Mini update. Thanks for the replies. I called up the person who took Max and managed to get him back the same night. Thank God they hadn't yet bonded with him and were understanding of the situation. But the damage was done. Ethan was a wreck for days, and I felt like I failed to protect him. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom her husband isn't my dad and his family didn't replace mine just because my dad died? I, 17 male, have a pretty blended family. Mom had me with my dad. They broke up when I was a baby. My mom had my half-sister Macy, 15 female, with a guy named Aaron. They weren't really together from what I know, but they shared custody of Macy her whole life, just like my parents shared custody of me before Dad died when I was 5. When I was 4, my mom started dating her first husband, husband number 1, and had my 3 other half-siblings, Daniel, 10 male, Lila, 9 female, and Kenna, 7 female. Mom and her first husband got divorced, and 2 years ago she remarried. Her husband number 2, has 3 kids with his ex. Holden, 13 male, Lacey, 11 female, and Kyrie, 9 female. My half-siblings go to their dads every other week. My step-siblings go to their mom every other week. I'm the only kid who hasn't got my dad to go to. Because of this, my mom expected me and her husband to be super close, and that I'd accept him as my new dad. Even after I didn't accept husband number 1 as my dad, she believed husband number 2 would be different. Not to me. Dad is still my only dad, and I don't see husbands number 1 or number 2 as my parent. I have a close relationship with my extended family on dad's side. I have grandparents who live 10 minutes from me. I have 3 aunts who live within 30 minutes of me. 2 uncles who live less than an hour away. 24 cousins who live within those distances of me. Lol. I have cousins of my dad who are close to us as well. There are times when my half-siblings are with their dads that I'll ask to be with someone in dad's family. Mom doesn't like that I do it, but she does let me sometimes. But she really tries to push me to spend time with her husband or his family when my half-siblings are gone, or if I'm the only kid in the house. 2 weeks ago, my half-siblings were all gone to their dad's houses. My step-siblings wanted to spend time with husband number 2's family, which makes sense since it's their family too. I asked Mom to let me spend a day with my grandpa since he was doing something cool. Mom looked surprised and told me there was a whole party going on at her in-laws, and I should be there with my family. I told her I wanted to be, which is why I was asking to be with Grandpa. Mom told me I was being intentionally ignorant and that I knew she was talking about her in-laws. We got into a fight and she said I never willingly spend time with her husband or his family, and I never prioritize my family. I told her she never expects my half-siblings to, and I shouldn't be treated differently because my dad died. I said her husband did become my dad, and his family did become my family just because my dad died. I told her they don't mean more to me than they do to my half-siblings. Mom told me it's different. She said I shouldn't feel this way. I told her if it was up to me, I'd never spend time with them. I'd spend time with my real family. She got mad at me for everything I said. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. First off, if I'm reading this correctly, your mom has had 4 men in significant enough relationships to either marry and or have kids within 17 years. This man is your family by marriage only at this point, and chances are better than average your mom will leave him too. That's just logical based on her history. Parents can't force family. She chose this man, not you. She made her choice to be with him. If your grandfather is a good, honest man, that is the man you should be spending time with. 3. Technically, Macy's dad and mom didn't really have a relationship. The only reason I ever met him is because mom got pregnant, but they weren't together or anything. My dad's family are all good people. I love spending time with them, especially my grandparents. I love being at their house. Enjoy spending time with your family. I don't know why your mom's trying to force a relationship with her current husband when, given what you told us, maybe be an ex as well. Not the a-hole. On your 18th birthday, move. Not the a-hole. Nobody gets to decide who you consider family. Some people have great step-parents and siblings they want to consider their true parents while not wanting to call their blood relatives their family. Others never developed that. Neither is wrong. You are the one that decides what you want to call your family. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Exactly. Shouldn't feel that way is not a thing and needs to be banished from the lexicon. A person feels how they feel. Last story. Am I the a-hole for cutting my dad off and staying with my stepmom after my dad cheated on her? I'm 20. My dad got married to my stepmom 6 years ago. I have known my stepmom for like 8 to 9 years now. I do not know anything about my biological mom. My dad raised me all alone. My stepmom truly cared about me and cares about me still now. She would always help me with homework or feed me, and she would make sure that I'm well fed. She would massage my hair and was strict with my diet. And when I questioned her, she would joke and said that she wouldn't want me to go bald like other men do. Even when I moved out at 17 to stay with my grandparents because I didn't want to become a burden to both of them and they deserve privacy, she would call me every day to check up on me. And at the very least, she would text me if I have eaten or not. She truly thinks of me as her own son. And I also call her mom because she is my mom. We often go to movies or shopping, etc., etc. But 4 days ago, my mom visited me and she was crying. It took me a bit to calm her down, and when I asked what's going on, she told me that my dad cheated on her. I asked her if she's sure. She said she is and showed me a screenshot in which my dad expressed his love to the other woman. I got very angry and called my father and cursed him as much as I could. He was listening and listening without saying a word, and I told him that I'm cutting him out of my life. That's when he got angry and asked would I really cut my own blood out of my life, the one who raised me and took care of me all the time. I said yes. I might not share blood with my mom, but she's my mom, and if he wants to have any kind of relationship with me, then own up to his mistake instead of acting like a victim. He got angry and started talking about everything he did for me. I cut the call and said he's dead to me. Now me and my mom and my grandparents are living together. She's heartbroken and very sad, but I try my best to cheer her up and take her outside to refresh her mind. But I feel sad for what I said to my own father, and I feel like an a-hole right now. I do know one thing for sure. I will never ever support a cheater, even if that's my own father. But I truly wish that he could have done something else which was a mistake, and not lose my own father. Your dad is a selfish cheater and that is sad. But your relationship with your stepmother is inspiring, especially in Reddit. Goes to show you blood is not always family, but the good people you make your family. Good luck to both of you. Not the a-hole. Just let daddy know he is on a timeout until he behaves better. OP's heart is breaking because a parent betrays the family, but his loyalty to his stepmom shows maturity and compassion. He is doing what feels right for him. Not the a-hole, ever. You are a real man. You have morals, you have integrity, you have kindness. You also show your respect to the people who deserve it, rather than those who insist that it is their due because they donated their DNA to you. I think that you are a really good man, and I am so pleased to read a post where someone has a good experience with a step-parent. Mine was good too. Carry on just being you. And she is more of a parent to you than he is.